Is it World War III? You've got Russia invading Ukraine. You've got Taiwan invading, China invading Taiwan's airspace. You've got threats of cyber war, questions about energy security, questions about the petrodollar. It's not a pretty sight in international affairs, and I want to hear from you now at 217-629-7970. Again, 217-629-7970. Just some of the headlines that we've got this morning. Russia's, of course, invasion of Ukraine has the U.S. sending 7,000 troops to Germany. Biden is announcing more sanctions on Russia. In Ukraine, fatalities announced. You've got the Ukrainian president Zelensky saying it's at least 137 Ukrainians are dead after the first day of Russia's incursion into that country. Zelensky says that Ukraine left alone to fight Russia while NATO is afraid, he says. But you've also got more than 1,000 people arrested in Russia in anti-war protests. All of this while they're expecting Kyiv to possibly fall to Russian advances. You've got the Chinese military doing flyovers of Taiwanese airspace. And actually, you do have the Taiwanese Defense Ministry saying that incursion included 8 fighter jets and 1 reconnaissance aircraft, and Taiwanese air assets scrambling in response to that. So obviously, China waited until after the Olympics to do what everybody expected them to do, and to try to take some kind of military position over Taiwan. That's while we've got the incursion that Russia has against Ukraine. And what should the U.S. response be here? What should the NATO response be here? 217-629-7970. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Morning, Greg.
Hey.
So I kind of got a little theory on this. It's like a 1-2-3 knockout. So there was a decision made by a few countries where Russia was decided to do it first. And now Russia's done it. I'd give it within the month of March, you're going to have China go into Taiwan. And then at about the same time that China goes in Taiwan, you're going to have Kim Jong-un start acting up, and he's going to go into South Korea. And I think that they're going to use...
He's already acted up. I mean, he's launched more missiles so far this year than he has in the past year and a half or so. And these are test missiles, but still, it's obvious that these are actions that Kim Jong-un's taking.
Well, see, I spent approximately 2 years in South Korea with Department of Defense, and he was it was his father at first, but I mean, basically the same person.
Yeah.
So I understand all the missile, quote unquote, testing, but what I'm getting at is nobody really, well, from my standpoint, I didn't think that Russia was going to do it, and they did it.
Yeah.
And so now it would almost be dumb of China not to go ahead and go through with it, and then at the same time they're going to have North Korea go ahead and go through it. That's my 1-2-3 knockout theory.
Well, we'll see. It's not going to be pretty, regardless of the countries that are involved here, because anytime you have military power exerted over another country, it's war. It's not pretty, and it's going to be incumbent upon all these countries to find a way to not have casualties, though we already have reports of casualties in Ukraine. Listen, it's not just the hot war, of course, that Russia has in Ukraine. It's not just the belligerence that China's showing to Taiwan. It's not just the belligerence that North Korea is showing to the world. You've got the global economy when it comes to how money translates across borders, when it comes to energy, how it gets around to where it needs to go. And I think one of the things that obviously is at play here as well is the situation with NATO. And is NATO ready for something like this? This is what they were there to do, right? I mean, this is what they were set to do, is to try to keep back the Soviet Union. But the Soviet Union is no longer there. It's now just Russia. But we've got other actors involved with the Communist Party of China and with North Korea as well. So these are obviously some very troubling times when it comes to international relations. 217-629-7970. It's coming up on 7:30. Again, 217-629-7970. That's the phone number for you to chime in. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Well, good morning, Greg. It's a lovely day. Lovely day from World War III. What they need to do, this is not my opinion, it's just what they've been pontificating about on the airwaves, is that open up that pipeline. What was that one that Biden shut down that our President Trump had opened up our oil and our capacity to supply the world with energy, and then it brings down the price of gas, which takes away the money out of Putin's Russia, which basically, as I heard it, been called a gas station with nuclear weapons. Pretty much is what they are. And and old Jen Psaki says, well, when asked about the what's that pipeline called?
You talking about the Nord Stream, or are you talking about the Keystone here in the United States? Keystone Pipeline?
One. Yes, Keystone. Thank you. I kept wanting to say Blackstone. That's in the movie. But they asked about that. Why don't they bring that back on? And she goes, well, it's not flowing any oil, so it doesn't have anything to do with it. It's like, yeah, that's the reason that we're having a problem.
Oh, you turned it off. That's not flowing any oil because you turned it off. Listen, the energy independence situation obviously is crucial. And if we're going to see a protracted war with Russia invading Ukraine and however long this goes on, especially if China starts looking towards Taiwan and elsewhere, for God's sake, then energy independence is going to be crucial. It's not going to be pretty, and I don't even want to think about what's going to happen over the weekend. All right, appreciate everybody chiming in here on